Welcome back. I'm Anna Dalman. It is Sunday, October 26, day number 161 of my note writing journey. Sundays is always a day where I review the week that has passed and the notes that I've written, to think about them and also to propel me forward. What do I need to address in a deeper way? Although yesterday I did say that I needed to take a look at heart idolatries this coming week, and I am still focusing on doing that. So day number 161 being Sunday, in the week's review, my note title is The Everlasting Effect of a Week. So how did this past week affect me? Day number 155, everlasting is deeper and wider than I thought it could be, and that was focusing on Jeremiah 31:3 when we spoke about the everlasting love of God and what that actually means. On day 155, I had it on the whiteboard, and I did explain. I explained the words and what they meant in the Hebrew, etc. So everlasting is deeper and wider than I thought it would be. What should my response be? And my application to what I know His love to be is to stop, consider the significance of it, to respond with humility. Me, really me, do I deserve any of that? Do I deserve that kind of goodness? And then commit to self, commit to myself to bring the changes to my life because of my understanding of that, and then to develop a plan and a platform of accountability to do that, and after that to change and grow. And then on day number 156, continue to extend faithful service from a foundation of truth, and that called for humility of spirit. Commit to act in gentleness and kindness, gentleness to myself, and then in gentleness and sweetness to those around me. To be truthful because of the truth. That means to be truthful because of the truth of the Word of God, friends. However, it also means to be truthful, not my opinion and my feelings, making them the facts of what the truth is, but the objective facts. What is the objective truth in any given situation? And then to change and grow accordingly. Day number 157 was, what are you responding to? That was the result of my study, or the day of looking at truthfulness. What are you responding to? What are the triggers of people, places, and things, PPT? How do they trigger you? What accusations do they bring up in your life if you have done some not too pleasant things? Or do the accusations fall flat because they're not landing on anything, because there is nothing to land on? Those accusations made towards your character have nowhere to go, because God is the one who accuses you or excuses you according to what His Word says about the reality of life. It doesn't matter what anybody accuses you of. If they are wrong, you are not guilty. So, the triggers, people, places, and things, the accusations, being judged, whose opinion counts? Theirs? No, they don't define you. God defines you. His Word defines you. Day number 158, hold on to whatever is really good. Write down 5 things that you know have encouraged you in life, the positive PPT, people, places, and things. Talk about them to yourself. Yep, to yourself. So I did list 5 things of mine. The Bible was one. My hospital experience. Number 3 was like-minded friends who shaped me, and I listed them. And my education, and a new day. And then day number 159, when sadness visits in response to what we miss about former sweet experiences, people, places, and things, what to do. In thinking about the sweetness of my friends and my community that I had formerly, it was so special. It was so sweet. Not only the house that I lived in and I oversaw, and I had a group of international master's degree students living with me, some undergrads, but primarily masters from around the world. It was an international student house. It was very sweet. However, beyond that, my friends, my community was so special and so sweet and so gracious. Furthermore, I had friends that had been devoted to me as I was devoted to them for 20, 30, and 40 years. Some have passed away in the years I've been here. Some continue to be remarkable gifts of God to me in friendship. But when sadness visits in response to what we miss about them, what to do? Acknowledge it. Be grateful for the blessing of that season. Few know such sweetness in their lives, friends. If you really consider that, how blessed we are to even have had that for a snapshot in the vastness of our lives. Bless those with prayer as they were a blessing to you. Thank God for them. Focus on what is around you at this season of your life and pour yourself into it. To me, that was my creative outlet of writing. Prior to focusing on writing, I was involved in disabilities on a local, regional, and even a national level, which was what I poured my life into. Reach out, and then another point on what to do when you are sad and missing people. Reach out to those people who you are missing. Write them an email. Tell them about how much they contributed to who you are today and why you think of them so fondly. You don't know how much of an encouragement that could be to them, and I think it's well worth taking the time to find them, write to them, communicate with them. Day number 160, missing the company of sweet, like-minded friends, how to keep up the momentum you're working towards. For me, missing my friends left me in a bit of sadness. Just thinking about them and that I don't have anything like that in my life. I was listening to Johnny Erickson Tada this morning talking about a woman whose child was disabled and had a terminal lifespan, and that she didn't have a support group of like-minded people, because how many people do you know who have to struggle with the death of a very young child? And she came to realize that God was her support group. And that is what adding to from yesterday, what I need to focus on in a geographic location for this season of my life. I don't have it directly, but I do have it vertically. Not horizontal, vertical, and that should be all sufficient for us, friends. So acknowledging that you are missing the company of sweet, like-minded friends, we then need to gain and gather momentum to keep working forwards to reach our goals. As I said, I still have a life ahead of me to live. In order to do that, greater discipline in my routines and daily activities, greater spiritual disciplines, humility and dependence, that is focusing on the vertical relationship. And then you need to respond to all of that with thanksgiving. And then you need to consider if you've made an idol of the past, or the people, places, and things. Have you listed them too highly in your life that they are taking on some kind of a greater image than they should be? Sure, they could all be godly people and godly environments that you're greatly missing, but have you put them above God? Has that temporal goodness become more important than the eternal goodness? Are you seeking to find peace and comfort in earthly treasures, which they are, rather than focusing on building your dependence and your vertical relationship and the support you have from Him, with Him? In order to determine whether you are making an idol of it, I said we should list the if-onlys to evaluate those people, places, and things, their status in my life. And I suggest you should do the same in your own. If they are taking on greater importance in our hearts, in our minds, then we are limiting our functioning. That's wasted energy. They should not rise above anything more than a sweet memory, and the sweet memories acknowledging that it was God who gave them to us for that season. Now He's put us in another season. the more I'm here and the longer I'm here, I've come to accept that God has me here, separated from all of that, for a greater, more strengthened vertical relationship with Him. And that, friends, is a good thing. And tomorrow I am planning on working on heart idolatries, just to draw the line in the sand of my heart to make sure that I'm not crossing over. Have to work on it, friends, because I have another 200 days to go on this 365-day journey, and I have the rest of my life to live, however long God determines that to be. So until tomorrow, which will be day number 162, I look forward to chatting with you again. Bye-bye until then.